there's a thing called the Virginia Blues when you're on the trail. So Virginia's 500 miles of the trail. It's almost a quarter of the trail. Prior to that, you're kind of hitting a lot of milestones. You've hiked through Georgia, you've hiked through North Carolina and Tennessee. So you're knocking out states, and then you get to Virginia, and it just like drags on. A lot of people quit because I guess they have a hard time setting those goals, those small goals. So like for them to get to the next state almost takes an entire month. So people will lose interest or, won't stay. They just don't want to stay. I don't know. But I had actually right when I got into Virginia, I'd gotten a phone call that one of my friends had passed away. So I had a really hard time because it was like, well, what do I do? Do I go home? Do I try to attend the funeral? I don't really have a way of getting home. I'm in the middle of nowhere, Virginia. There's no airports nearby. Like, all right, so I'm looking up like Greyhound bus schedules and trying to figure it out. And it's just like, and then the other thing that scared me was like, if I go home, am I going to come back? It's like, you get home, you sit on a couch, you lay in your bed, you watch some TV. It's like, yeah, this is comfortable, not, but I wanted to be away from all that, so it was like, I was kind of conflicted. It's like, go home for my friend's funeral, or do I stay? I ended up staying, and I left the town that I was in that next day, and I hiked, and I'd say for about 3 or 4 days, I was constantly thinking about him, and when you're hiking by yourself, all you have is your thoughts. Yeah, while I was hiking, I had a lot more time to get closure with the whole situation, and I think it was better, and in fact, there was one lady that I met on the trail that helped me out and helped me through that. I met her not too long after I found out the news. She was actually an Air Force wife, and she was fighting cancer. And, seeing her and how she dealt with all the adversity in her life and her struggles made me realize that, it just helped me through the situation that I was going through. So it was a difficult time, having to deal with all that stuff going on back home. But on top of that, it was also raining for about 5 days. So I had a lot of things telling me to go home. A lot of rain, a lot of bad thoughts, and I had nobody would have blamed me if I went home. Nobody would have been like, oh, you're a quitter. No, I went home because but I did meet her, and she was a really resilient person, and she helped me through that. Showed me what strength really was, and it was and it's in an older lady that's fighting cancer. So she was awesome, and I still write her a Christmas card every year now and tell her how much she meant to me, because I don't think she ever understood that I wanted to quit then. So I think the biggest thing that I want people to take away from what my whole telling the story is just, take risks, take chances. Don't let something that seems unachievable stop you from trying to achieve it. I felt like, there were so many things that, so many excuses I could have made for myself for why I shouldn't go and do this. Not only my job, I had student loans, I had other bills I still had to pay, but, I went ahead and, I planned accordingly, and, I saved up the money, and I made it happen. So I think that, even if somebody else were in a, not necessarily like, wanting to accomplish their dream, but let's say that, even if their dream was to go back to college, and, they feel like the odds are against them, they've got all these reasons why they can't do it, and put the reasons why you can't and look at all the reasons why you should or can, and let those be your focus, and set small goals for yourself that are towards the big picture, and then I think anything's possible. taking what I did and, hiking the trail, and then later on taking another chance and, getting commissioned. I took 2 big risks, but 2 of them also had really big rewards. I mean, being on top of Mount Katahdin after hiking for 5 months, makes you feel amazing. I mean, you get up there, you see this sign. I've been hiking to look at this sign, The view was awesome too, but really it was all about the sign. That's what it was all about. You wanted to see it, and it's a really big accomplishment. And now, having taken this chance again to commission, getting accepted into this position was also just. I'm grateful for the opportunity that was afforded to me. I mean, I feel special, and but I never would have gotten it if I didn't take the chance. Yeah. So pretty much anybody that hikes the trail has this picture. If they hike the whole thing, they have this picture. They have the exact same picture because like I said, you feel like you're on top of the world. This is the highest point is Mount Katahdin. It's the highest point in Maine. And, I think my dad took this picture. My dad and my fiance both, they met up with me at the end. And, it was, like I said, you're just on top of the world. It's been working so hard for one thing for 5 months just to get there. Just for this picture. So, and it's funny because you see all these, in all the hostels along the way and stuff, people will send postcards back later on saying thank you for your support, blah, blah, blah. So you look at everybody else has got this picture on their postcard. So I made my own postcard and I sent it out, but yeah, this is proof. It feels good to look at every time I see it because it's, I know I did it. I hiked every mile. That was another thing. I wanted to make sure I hiked every mile. I wasn't going to cheat myself out of any of it. Like I said, I wanted to see it all. There was no reason not to see the entire thing. If I'm here, I'm going to hike it. So that's what I did. Yeah.